As I was saying earlier on, Louise and I are delighted to come on tonight and share with you guys as much information as we possibly can. Neither of us are particularly techie, so this is totally out of our comfort zones, but it looks like we're doing good so far. So my name's Natalie Valenti. One of the big things about tonight is that you're going to be able to ask your questions. So I would advise you to have a pen and paper ready just now. Louise has got some really, really amazing advice for you guys when it comes to actually having the right product information. And at any point throughout the webinar tonight, just write down your questions and you're more than welcome to send them over to us, and we'll go through them at the end. We do have a section at the end for question and answers, and we will try our best to get through as many of your questions as humanly possible. So let's have a little look at what we've got actually coming up in this webinar tonight. Now, it is being recorded. For those of you who have already asked that question, it is being recorded, and we will be able to send that out to you as soon as we possibly can. So make sure that your teams do log in if they can't possibly make it tonight. So what I'm going to be running you through really quickly just now is about the Be Resolute campaign, the message and the product focuses for February and March. Now, this is, I think, since I've been in the business, the first time that the company have actually focused on something for an entire quarter. And I don't know about you guys, but for me, it just makes total sense. You know, product of the month is great, but actually to have something for 3 months running, I've really been able to kind of indulge myself in it and really, really get involved with the campaign. So I hope that you guys have as well. For anyone that's new, or if you're just getting on board with the campaign, don't worry, you've still got lots and lots of time to get involved as of now. So you're in the perfect place to be able to do that. So as I said, Louise is going to be taking you through some really detailed information about the products that are actually in the C9 and the F15, which is totally invaluable if you want to be able to retail the products properly. I'm going to be talking you through how to then look after your customers and retain them as regular customers, which of course, you know, that's what we want, isn't it? That's what we come into. Every time you go to the business presentation, you'll hear find 20 to 30 regular customers. You don't have to sell to the world. And for me, these products are really key in being able to do that because they give people a real taster of lots and lots of different types of products. I'm going to be running you through a little bit later on the campaign tools and our latest competition, which I think is just absolutely incredible. So the focus for February, obviously we've had January, we've done our C9s and our F15s, we've encouraged as many of our friends and family and clients to get on board with that. But for a lot of people, February seems to be a little bit of a slump. It's a shorter month. It hasn't really started to pick up in terms of, you know, the way that they're feeling yet. And sometimes it's really, really easy for people to kind of slip back into their old kind of poor habits, maybe drinking when they shouldn't be drinking and eating what they shouldn't be eating when they know they shouldn't. And when we have our best intentions in January, as I say, it's very easy to slip back. And this is what these products are for. This is what this campaign is actually for. So it's about not giving up. It's about being resolute. So the actual products that head office are going to be focusing on their social media and throughout the Our Life magazine, all of the great tools that we have, are the products that are in the F15. You might have seen them a lot already on Bob's Facebook pages, including the gel, the berry nectar and the aloe peaches, Forever Fibre. RG is also going to be a big focus this month, and the Forever Ultra Light in chocolate and vanilla. And March is moving on to finishing strong, but not really finishing strong. We don't want people to then give up, you know, and say, oh, that's me done with being healthy now, I've got to March. It's almost about congratulating yourself that you've got that far. I have done the C9 and the F15 this year, and I must say I do feel amazing. I notice a difference in my own energy, my sleep, my skin, and just actually in my whole general well-being. I just feel better. My mind feels sharper. So I think it's really about that, you know, getting to March and saying, I want to continue. I want to keep feeling like this. And the product focuses in March will be the Vital 5, the Forever Daily, the Shakes, Heat Lotion, and the MSM Gel. So I'm going to pass you over to Louise Riley. As I said, Louise has been in the business for a lot longer than me. She knows a lot more than me. So I've got my pen and paper here ready to take my notes as well. Louise, I'm just going to unmute you and then we can get started. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, I can hear you.
You can hear me? Can you see me?
Can, yes.
Okay. Right. So can I move the slides myself, or do you need to move the slides? Let me see. Let me try.
I can do it for you, Louise, if you just give me a little nudge.
Yes, if you wouldn't mind. I don't seem to be able to do it this end. So yes, let's move straight on to the first slide, which should be great. Okay, so as Natalie has already said to you all, that my role this evening is to give you some information about the products that you get in the Fit boxes, and that's the C9 and obviously the F15. Now, the whole idea is that we know that when people are starting on the C9 and F15, that a lot of people are really focusing on thinking about maybe getting healthier, losing weight. And the whole idea of the information I'm going to share with you now is obviously linked to that. However, what we want people to do is see the products as a product in their own right, and not just linked with being, you might say, a diet product. Because as soon as you start thinking about being on a diet, that on a diet means that it's something that is very temporary. And what we want to do is get people to see how our products, as our name implies, can be part of somebody's household forever. So that is the kind of the focus. What I'm going to do, I will obviously talk about the products, how they would work within the program, but more importantly, seeing how you could be able to market the products in different ways as well. So our key product is obviously our drinking gels, and we know that we have them in our boxes, and the key reason really for drinking the aloe on the C9 and the F15 is to support your digestive health. And the reason for that is that aloe vera contains a whole cocktail of nutrients. And the nutrients in aloe vera that is going to support your digestive system to be in balance. And your body is constantly striving to be in a state of what we call homeostasis, which is balance. Now, within the 75 nutrients that you get in aloe vera, that you have the key nutrients in the aloe which support digestive health, such as vitamin A, C, E, you have magnesium, calcium, and fiber. So what the digestive system is doing is taking what it needs from those nutrients, and that is going to support not just digestion, but also absorption, because absorption is part of your digestive health. That then means that the bioavailability of the nutrients you're taking in from your food are going to be supported at a much greater level. So, of course, one of the key nutrients that we need every single day is water. And of course, when we're born, we were 90% water. We probably kind of stick around 50 to 70% now, but it's very important to make sure that you're putting water into your body every day. So one of the key things on the C9, especially on day 1 and day 2, is you're putting in the water, because aloe contains water just like any other plant does. But also within that water, you have the nutrients. And nature has given us this most amazing plant with all of these nutrients, which are in perfect balance for your body to be able to use that. So that's one of the key reasons that you would be drinking aloe vera on the programs. However, most people, they want to have great skin, hair, and nails. They want to have, as we've heard, a good, strong immune system and digestive system. Your immune system actually resides, most of it resides in your gut. Most people want to have good energy levels. They also want to support their joint health. And that's the main reasons that people will choose to drink aloe vera on a daily basis, because aloe vera contains this cocktail of nutrients to support your body in the areas I've mentioned to be in balance. So of course, a lot of people do ask that, can you swap the drinks if you want to have the peaches rather than the gel or the berry net? Of course you can, because the difference between all three really is just down to your preference in flavour. Obviously, the plain aloe vera gel has the most aloe. It's a 99.7% aloe. The other 0.3% comes from the addition of vitamin C in the form of as a nutrient, but also as a regulator. But if you would prefer, and if you find that your clients would prefer to have the berry nectar or the peaches, that's absolutely fine. If you're somebody that is already drinking the Forever Freedom, we know that the reason for drinking the Forever Freedom, it also has the addition of glucosamine and chondroitin, and these sulfurs you actually find them in normal healthy joints. So if you are still drinking the Freedom, and let's say, for example, you are drinking 120 mils a day, continue to drink that 120 mils a day, but on day 1 and day 2, you might want to top up to the next, the rest, to make it 480. So the next product that we have, as you can see, I think the key thing here is in the yellow circle that is beside the actual pictures of the shakes, and it's a nutritionally balanced snack. So I think one of the important things here is that not to call it a protein shake, because it has to have actually, well, if you're talking about a protein shake, generally speaking, if you're talking to people that work out at a gym, they would expect more protein in it than that. Now, they actually, if you look at the just down all the information there, you can see that per scoop there's about 94 calories. It actually gets the extra when we look at how much in grams we have in protein, it's 14 grams per scoop. The extra is actually coming from the milk if you are using semi-skimmed milk. So it's a nutritionally balanced snack for the whole family to enjoy. I wouldn't call it a meal replacement, because once again you're giving it that label of a diet product, but we want people to see how they can have it in their kitchen cupboard and use it for lots of different things. One thing to remember, however, that when you're on the C9 and the F15, to make sure that you are not reducing the calories below 200 calories. So either follow the delicious recipes that we have with the shakes, or if you are going to have, for example, I know a lot of people like to have almond milk. Almond milk is very low in calories, and it would mean it would be below the 200 if you're mixing it with the powder. So if you do choose to have almond milk, which if you have the milk plus the calories, you're probably hitting around about 130 calories only. You see, it's quite low. You need to top up, so add other things in there like bananas or peanut butter, well, whatever you want really, just to make sure you're getting those 200 calories. As you can see, there's a whole list of ideas on there. I'll just pick out a couple. You could have the oat milk, which would make it a pre-exercise shake because you have more carbohydrates coming from the oats. As a post-exercise shake, and mix it with water and 2 scoops, because 2 scoops are going to give you 28 grams of protein, which is actually recommended as a protein drink, and water gets into your body faster than anything else, so that is really great as a post-exercise. You can see that you can it's something that the children can have. Delicious pancakes, you can make ice cream, you can put it into porridge. So what we're trying to get people to see is this is something that the whole family can enjoy, and we're going to let go of that label of being a diet product. So if I could have the next slide then, please, Natalie. Right, the Garcinia. Okay, well, what's interesting about Garcinia, as you can see at the first point, it's talking about it as tamarind. So if you were to go into your supermarket, you can go to the spice section and you'll see tamarind in a paste and you can cook with it. But one key ingredient we have in here is also chromium. Now, chromium contributes to normal macronutrient metabolism, but also the maintenance of normal blood glucose level. You can also see that it contains something called MCTs, medium chain triglycerides. We know these as things that you find in things like coconut oil, and palm oil, and also you find some in butter. Now, unlike other fats or lipids, which normally when they're broken down will get into your system through your lymph system first of all, they will then travel through the lymph right up to your neck, believe it or not, where they will enter your bloodstream at a later date. Now, these are your normal fats and lipids, but MCTs actually will go directly into your bloodstream. So what does that mean? Well, they can then convert into ketones, and I'm sure you're aware that your body can use ketones as a source of energy. So maybe the Garcinia is something that you may decide to take before you do exercise. Another thing I just wanted to pick up here as well is the fact that it says, for best results, do not remove from the time-release capsule. Now, a lot of people will want to take the Garcinia out of the capsule because the capsule is actually bovine gelatin. And if someone is vegan, vegetarian, they don't want to take that. Please just be aware that if you take it out of the capsule, it's in the capsule for the reason to protect the Garcinia on its arduous journey through your intestinal tract. So it's got to deal with things like the acid in your stomach, bile, and everything else. So just be aware that if you can't take the Garcinia, one of the things I suggest people to do instead is to take foods that have an effect on your serotonin. You can find lists of foods quite easily if you want to go and search it on the web. But as I've already mentioned, things like walnuts, tomatoes, kiwis, bananas, all those kind of things will also help. So next slide, please. Okay, the Forever Therm. Now, one of the main reasons that this is put into the C9 is down to the fat, really, is because it contains caffeine. Now, caffeine is, as a lot of people think about, caffeine is in like something that is bad for you, but caffeine is actually not bad for you. Let me explain what caffeine does. So caffeine is a stimulant, and what stimulants do, they have an effect on your adrenaline, and your adrenaline is your fight or flight hormone. And what the adrenaline will do is get the glucose in your cells ready for action. So of course, before we do exercise, we want to have our cells ready for action so we can have a lot of stamina endurance. If you were to have some caffeine just before you were to exercise, obviously that's a good thing. But we don't want to overdo the caffeine, because if you are taking caffeine every hour, then of course that is having an effect on your adrenaline every hour, and you just haven't given your body the time to recuperate its adrenaline level, so you're weakening the response. So maybe having 3 or 4 caffeines in a day is absolutely fine. So that's one of the reasons why we have caffeine in our range there. But of course, alongside this, with the caffeine, we have the B vitamins and also vitamin C. Now, predominantly, B's and C's are the vitamins that should do with our energy levels. So of course, the combination of having B's and C's plus having the caffeine, you can see this is a really good product to recommend for energy, as we just picked one out there, vitamin C, for normal energy yielding metabolism. But also on top of that, you can see there's B5 in there, and that's contributing to normal mental performance, and B1 for normal psychological function. So your psychological function is your mood, and your mental performance is your stamina and your focus. So with that in mind, we can also recommend this product not just for taking before exercise, but we can also recommend it for people to have on their desk when they're studying, so students can have it. Why not have one in the car when you're driving long distances, or lorry drivers, anybody that you know that's in the car quite a lot and driving? What about people that work shifts? They could also take it as well. So really, the Forever Therm, I absolutely love this product. This is the product that actually has replaced the bee pollen. A lot of people would still be recommending the bee pollen, but actually this is the one that is the better product to be able to recommend for energy. So let's move on then, I think, to the final one. Right, the fibre. Now, what's interesting about fibre is that fibre has lots of different roles in the body, but a lot of people don't realise that it is really good to support digestive health, and also a lot of people are just not taking enough fibre. So each one of these contains 5 grams of fibre. And an adult needs to have about 30 grams of fibre a day, and a child needs to have between 20 and 25 grams of fibre a day. So what happens with fibre, one of the roles, is that first of all it's supporting your gastrointestinal tract time, which means the movement of your foods through your tract. Now the challenge is, if food is moving through too slowly, you have to ask yourself the question, are you reabsorbing some of the toxins that have been hanging around? If it's going through too quickly, are you actually absorbing enough nutrients? So to have a good supply of fibre is also key. So with this, you can see that we have corn fibre and corn dextrin in here. We've got the gum in there, but also you can see that word fructooligosaccharides. Well, that's quite a long word. So fructooligosaccharides is actually food for your good bacteria in your gut. So you are also giving your good bacteria something to eat. Now, one of the reasons that you are spreading it out through when you're on the C9 is because, first of all, it has the ability to give you a feeling of satiety. So you feel full, you feel satisfied. But you can actually take it if you want to in your aloe drinks or in your shakes if you want to do that. How to incorporate it into your household, especially if people are not very good at eating fibre, you can start to put it into your baking, into cereals, into soups, and as I said, also into your shakes. So that's me with my product section. I hope you found that useful, and obviously I will do my best to answer any questions. So I'm going to hand you back now to Natalie.
Thank you so much, Louise. I am actually a little bit mind blown on that. I've just sat saying today, I need that. I need that. I need that. I didn't actually know all of this stuff, so thank you so much. And when I come out of the gym tomorrow, I'm going to have 2 scoops and water rather than my shake, which I normally have. So thank you so much. That's absolutely amazing. I do have questions of my own. You'll be glad to know. All right. Thank you so much. I shall carry on. How amazing was that? Oh my gosh. Right, so let's have a look. We're going to look at, now that you know that information, I hope you guys are now feeling a little bit more confident to go out and actually talk about the products, because I certainly am. But as we were talking about earlier on, what tonight is about, not so much finding your customers, but actually keeping your customers. We don't want to just have one-off sales. We want to have customers that are going to keep coming back and really feeling the benefits of your products. And I'm going to give you a few tips really just to help us stand out from each other. There's lots and lots of FBOs in the world, but I think it's nice to put your own twist on things and actually help yourself to stand out a little bit. And one of those things that I think is really, really important and almost just completely, imperative to have is a support group for your people who are gel drinkers, cleansers, or they're on the F15 program for whatever goal that may be. And remember, lots of people do the cleanse not to lose weight. A lot of people come onto the F15 again not to lose weight. It's about their actual body goal. So I want you to have a Facebook group set up. It's a private group, and because it's private, your customers, your clients, your friends, your family, whoever's on it, even your team members are going to feel a little bit more comfortable and confident with sharing stuff that can sometimes be a little bit private. And it's not just for people who are on the products already. This is for people who inquire. So if you've not got a really great page set up just now, I would go and have a look at it tomorrow if you've got time, and make sure that it is really something that is offering people value. You're giving people value before they've even given you any money. You're sharing things that are motivational, inspirational, sharing exercise routines that you've done. If I do a home workout, I always share the link from my YouTube workout straight into the page, because there's always someone that will really, really appreciate it. And not everyone's always that proactive and going out for themselves and looking for workouts. So it's up to us. So my group that my team have is called Live Well. So it's not just about, cleanse support group or whatever you might have yours called. I think it's good to make it something really generic. And it means that once people go into that group, they basically will be there for life. And it's a real community. And that's really what your aim is for in these groups, is to create a community for people who have a common goal. Now, we're going to be there to support them. Now, not everybody has a community like that outside of Forever. Not all of their friends are trying to get fit and healthy. And sometimes if you're the only one in your friend group or in your family that is trying to do something a little bit different, I know this myself because I'm in lots of different groups for lots of different things. I'm in the Miracle Morning group, I'm in a vegan group. It's nice to be supported from other people who are like you. So it's really, really important. And as I said, think outside the box with this. If you were in this group, what would you like to see? I always try and think about that when it comes to customer care. What would I like? How would I like to be treated? Now, your group is going to make it really simple for you and also for your team members to be able to share information with people. So use the files section of your group to be able to store important documents. So the company are going to give you lots and lots of great imagery. You can even get the PDFs of your C9, your cleanse book, your F15. You've got the PDFs even of the whole entire product brochure that we have. So make sure that your page is packed full of information so that you're not scurrying around and checking your notes on your mobile phone. You know when you put people into this group that everything is already there for them. And since we set ours up properly a couple of years ago, it really does make life run much, much easier. And we also have a pinned post at the top of our group, which has lots of really encouraging videos. There's a welcome video in there from myself saying, congratulations, you've ordered your C9. This is about supporting each other and explaining what the group is for. And actually, video is better than just a post. People are more likely to click on a video. So be brave, set up a video. If you don't want to do it yourself, there must be someone in your team who's confident enough to do that. And also in the top of the pinned post, we have the app. So we know that people can basically use the PDFs. They're going to use us for support, but when they're at work or when they're traveling, they're also going to have the app that Forever have provided that is going to help to keep people on track with their goals. So the page is also really, really handy for you to be able to share inspiration for our shakes. All of the different things that Louise has just told us about the shakes should be going into that group. And again, it's about sharing value and content with people even before they've spent a penny with you. And I think that's what helps to keep people engaged with you. Obviously sharing your meal ideas. Since David and I have done our last C9 and F15, we pretty much take a picture of every single meal that we have at home, because we've really, it's encouraged us to eat cleaner. We cook everything from fresh now, whereas that wasn't always the case. Sometimes, we'd buy in a pizza or always kind of be rushing around. But as the F15 and the C9 have helped us to create healthier habits, it gives us things to share. So helping people out with their free foods, free food ideas, shake ideas, all of that type of stuff, again, is adding value to people and will help to keep your customers using the products, even after the 9 days or the 24 days or whatever it may be. It's going to encourage them to stay involved. It's creating a group of people that really want to kind of stay together. Make sure that when you're in this group that you're not just supporting your clients, not just the people that you've introduced, but supporting everybody. So I will take a little bit of time in the morning once I've done the school run, usually once I'm having my own shake, to have a little quick flick through and congratulate everyone on how they're doing and offer a little bit of support, because although it's a tiny, tiny little thing and it only takes a couple of minutes, it can actually mean so much to people. that there's someone out there, they're a complete stranger, and they're taking an interest. You know, we're sharing support and we're lifting people up sometimes on days when they might want to quit, you know, when they might think, oh, this is too hard, I'm going to just go back to my old ways. And this group is also a perfect place for you to be able to run live events from. So I'm sure most of you that are on will have done an online launch at some point or an online party. Rather than setting them up as separate events, why not run it into your group? It's much easier, everyone's already in the group. And as I say, you know that these people are already invested. You know that they're interested. You know that they're possibly even looking into the products, or that they've probably used them before. And I always encourage people to invite their friends into the group as well. Share as much as they can. And you'll know when you're doing a good job on this group. This is how you know, when your customers start to post their recipes and their shake ideas and their workouts without you prompting them. It's such an amazing feeling when your customers start to be an advocate for you. And what you'll often find is that, yes, us as forever business owners, we can tell people how fabulous the products are. But when someone on your group who is just a customer comes on and raves about how amazing they feel, that will sell 1 million more products than you ever will, because they're not getting paid for doing that. It's just an honest and open opinion. Now, once the program is over, as I said, we really want to encourage people not to just let our products be a one-off. So I would really encourage you guys to treat your customers as you would with your prospects, and make sure that you're tracking them throughout their C9 or their F15, or even if they're going all the way through the F15 for the whole 99-day program. Remember that it's your job to serve these people. I always think of that quote, if you get nervous, focus on service. Because that's what really, really counts to people, is that you're actually there showing an interest. I admitted on stage at Success Day on Saturday that in the beginning of my journey, I really didn't do that. I really just used to sell a box of products and think, good luck, you know, off you go. And that's because I wasn't educated and I didn't know that it was my job to support them. I just presumed that they would come back, and people don't. People will go back to where they feel valued. So always make sure that you know when your customer is due to start their product. When you know when they're due to start, you can encourage them for the first couple of days, making sure that they're using all of the free food in abundance. Because a lot of times people still have a misconception of the C9 that it's just, you know, they just starve to death for the first couple of days, and it's just so the opposite of that. So it's your job to make sure on day 1 and day 2 that they're eating enough, that they're feeling okay, that they're really hydrating and giving their body all of the nourishment that it needs, because they can do that on the C9. Now, once they are finished the C9, or as they're about to finish the C9, maybe on day 5 or 6, I'll always get in touch with them and say, listen, what's the product? If you could only stick with one product, what one would it be? What one would you say is your favorite? And what you'll find is that because people are feeling supported and they're feeling great, and also with all of this extra information that Louise has just given us, you're going to be able to give people the reason of why they're feeling so good. So to ask that, I always say, what's the one thing? If you could stick with one, what would it be? And what you'll often find is that they'll just go into this big rant, this big blurb of, oh, I'm not sure, I like the shakes and I like the aloe and I like this and that. So it's your job, as with everything in network marketing, is just to listen. Ask the question and listen, because when you listen to their reasons, take notes, and then when it comes towards the end of their C9, you can start to think, what would you advise them of how they could fit this into their daily lifestyle long term? And that's the type of wording that I use. Do you think that you could fit this into your life long term? Can you see yourself taking a shot of aloe every single morning? For me, the biggest thing, absolutely biggest thing, maybe not after what Louise has just told me, but for me, it's always been the gel. I want everyone to do the C9 F15 and stay a regular gel drinker. But now think about what you've just learned as well. Think about what people might want to fit in and what's actually going to suit their body and their lifestyle and their needs. So talking about the benefits to them as often as possible. So what I'll do when people are on the products, I'll have little saved videos in my phone, or onto the support page, and I'll tag them in little videos, and it's usually just videos that the company have made. You know, there's one about the gel, there's one about the F15, there's one about that beautiful video that's about how the aloe is harvested, sharing that type of information, and then you'll be able to know what it is that they're actually enjoying. Now, during their F15, I asked them if they'd like to continue with, and if people can't realistically afford to buy everything, which let's face it, not everyone can, rather than just losing that customer, I'll say to them, listen, let's figure out what's best for you. And because of what Louise has just told us, it's going to be much easier for us to do that now and almost tailor like a feel-good program to them. That's the way that I speak to my customers. I say, listen, if you can't afford to buy everything every single month, I totally get it, but let's make sure you get a feel-good program. Let's get something that's you can afford, that you're going to be able to afford in and month out, that's going to make you feel and keep this feeling that you have right now. Now, I mentioned again on stage on Saturday that what I always talk to my clients about before they use our products, be it the gel or the C9 or the F15, is that most people don't realise how good their body is designed to feel. Now, that saying actually comes from yoga. I learned that years ago when I was doing my yoga teacher training, and it really resonates actually from people don't realise how good their body is designed to feel. Yes, when you go to yoga, you do get a similar type of feeling, but nothing feels as good as eating properly and sleeping properly and being properly hydrated and your body being completely supported. It feels amazing. I can tell you that because I know it myself. So that's the type of feeling that you are trying to encourage your customers to stay with. And let's face it, who doesn't want to feel good? Now, as I say, treating your customers as you would with your prospects, they're just as valuable, if not more valuable, because they probably will stay with you for life. And what I mean by that is creating a profile of them, knowing a little bit about them, their kids' names, their dogs' names, what do they do for a living, what makes them tick, what are their hobbies, where do they like to travel to. All of this type of thing is going to help you to really build a relationship with your customer, and this is the business that we are in. Whether it's prospecting, whether it's retailing, you're in the business of building relationships, so enjoy it, get good at it, practice it. It's actually a really, really amazing way to spend your day when you get to work your business full time and you get to just basically make friends with people all the time. So make sure that you know a little bit about them and take the time to stay in touch with them. Not just when you need an order. That's a real pet hate of mine. A lot of people used to do that in my team years ago. Oh, I contact my customers every month, you know, to see what they want at the end of the month. And it's not about that. This isn't about you trying to get your 4 case credits done or anything like that. You're trying to help people. And when you shift your mindset from it being about collecting case credits, you'll find that you just really enjoy sharing the products and the benefits with it with people. So if that's something you've got into the habit of doing, don't worry about it, because you can stop it now. Take a genuine interest in people, ask them how they're feeling, and because the value of a good customer is just absolutely incredible. What they will become, as I said earlier on, is an advocate of yours. So they will recommend you to other people. They will never go anywhere else for their products, because why would they? A lot of my customers actually have a direct debit set up with me where I know what they're going to have every single month. And I've said to them, I've been brave enough to say, listen, if it's easier for you, let's set up a direct debit. I know what you're going to have every single month, and I'll make sure that it comes to you on exactly the same day every single month. So have a little look at your customer sheets at the moment and think to yourself, is there anyone that I can make it a little bit easier for in that way? Les Brown, if anyone listens to Les Brown, I listen to him pretty much every single morning because he just makes me laugh so much. And he says, it's not your job to serve your customers, it's your job to amaze your customers. Isn't that so nice? So it's about going that little extra mile for these people. You know, your customers are spending money on you, they're investing in you, and once you realize what you're able to do with that money, I think that they become extra valuable to you. So my customers are my biggest asset, as well as my team members. You know, I really want to look after them. So you could think of little rewards. a reward card as you would get in Costa. You can buy those incentives, little freebies. If you're going to have your customer group page or your support group page, when it comes to doing a monthly event in there, make sure that you're giving away little freebies, little prizes, having games in there and keeping it really, really fun for people. But don't try and remember everything. Please, please make a system to track people. And the reason I'm asking you to do that is because I thought that I would remember everyone, and you never will. It doesn't matter how long you've been in the business, or even if you're just brand new and you've only got 5 customers, you'll never remember. Life will take over at some point. So please make sure that you are working your business as a business, track them professionally, and always think to yourself, how could I amaze my customers? How would I like to be treated? So something like introducing people to products that may be of interest to them. So for example, when the new sheet mask launched last year, I got in touch with everybody, and I didn't say it, as in, I'm letting everybody try this new product and it's just launched. I messaged them and I said, listen, this product has launched and it is perfect for you. I thought of you straight away. Would you like to give it a try? And if you're using that type of language, making people feel special, they're going to buy from you. They're going to be much, much more engaged. So over the years of working my business, we probably do about 6 or 7 case credits in retail without a problem now, and that is something that I am massively, massively proud of. I think we're sitting about 7 case credits at the moment this month on retail alone, and this is something that I'm not having to chase. I'm not having to go out and do lots and lots of stalls as I did in the early days. These are people who come month in, month out because I'm looking after them, and it's the best feeling in the world to be able to help people like that, and they're always recommending new people my way that I would never ever be able to find. Lastly, asking your customers for referrals. You have to get used to asking this question. Sometimes it's a little bit uncomfortable, but if you're not uncomfortable, they say at least 3 times a day, you're not really working your business. So I always say, always, to people when they're buying a C9, when they're buying the F15, that it's much easier and you get much better results if you do it with a friend. So I always ask the question, who else do you know that might be interested in doing this with you? And it's a fact, isn't it? I'm not making it up. If you were to do a C9 and you were to do it with your partner or your best friend, you would get a better result because you'd have someone holding you accountable. You'd have someone, as I say, there to kind of lift you up when you're feeling a little bit down, to play off a little bit and keep each other supported. So offer an incentive for people to recommend a friend. So for me, I always say, if you can recommend a friend to do the C9 with you, I'll give you £10 off your C9, and I'll give them £10 off their C9 as well. Now, obviously, I'm a manager in the marketing plan, so I get a good profit margin. If £10 is too much for you, don't offer it. Offer £5 or a free gift. Free gifts are a really, really good idea because it means that you're going to give them another product, which is going to get you extra case credits, and you're also introducing them to a new product that they haven't used yet. So just be clever with your incentives. Don't be afraid to ask for a referral. And one thing that I always make sure I ask people to do when their C9 or their F15 or even when their gel arrives is that they take a picture of it, wherever it is in their kitchen or anywhere, and they tag me in it and they write the line, "Look what's arrived." They tag my name and say, "Can't wait to get started." So that way you know that they're not going to say anything uncompliant and tag you in it, which could get you into trouble. They're just saying that they can't wait to get started, look what's arrived. And of course, when they do that, it opens up their whole network on Facebook. And people are nosy, they like to see what other people are doing. So there's lots and lots of ways that you can look after your customers. I hope that this has given you guys some good ideas. And I'm going to move on now to our campaign. As I said, if you've not got involved yet, you've still got the next couple of months to make sure that you are part of this movement. Forever haven't made this up just for the fun of it. It's here to help us. It's here as a focus for us. So it's a 3-month focus so that you can start to get really creative work with your teams, work with the people who have introduced you, cross-line, sideline, and see what amazing things that you can come up with. So the company, as always, will give you amazing tools. If you haven't been onto the Be Resolute Hub yet, it's got really, really good information. Please write this down. You're going to need this tonight to go and check out how you can win new competition. So it's flpuk.info and then /Be Resolute Hub. And as I say, if you go onto that, it's a very small holding page, but it gives you lots of good information all broken down. Coming very soon for us, the company are creating a PDF of the do's and don'ts of promoting the C9 and F15, which is absolutely great. FLP Social, if you've not used that, you can get a free trial. It's something that we use in our support group, and it's incredible because it will just allow you to have really nice content, some recipes, you know, and really nice motivational quotes that you can just lift and place into your pages. You're not having to create these things for yourself. The Aloe Life magazine for me is a real game changer. I actually buy more of them than I do my product brochures because I'm really pleased with the look of them. I've got one here. No, I don't. If you've not seen the Aloe Life magazine, it's really nice. It looks like a gorgeous kind of high-end magazine that you can give to your customers, and it's got really good value, lots of really good free information in there. And as I say, we're going to be focusing on the Be Resolute, so there's lots of great things in there for their fitness, nice little tips about 5-ingredient meals, that type of stuff. Videos that the company have made, it's time, the Be Resolute, stay strong, you can find these on YouTube. They're also creating a What's in the Box PDF for us, which is great. And obviously they do lots of blogs as well. So these are all out there for us for free, and it's free content. It's interesting things for people to share. So if you're currently needing to up your social media game, this is your place to start. You'll find all of these things on Forever Knowledge. They're great. You can go in and just basically share them directly from there. So the competition that I was telling you about, I'm not going to tell you all about it because you're going to go and check that out on the hub. It starts in a few days. It's an FBO only competition. The prize is incredible. You're going to be able to win a C9, an F15 and a Vital 5, as well as £500 worth of Apple vouchers. So a hugely generous prize, worth a lot of money. So please do go on and check that out. I've already had a little look at it last week, and it's actually really, really easy to get involved with. Everyone can do it, so please encourage your teams. Let's get as many people using this hashtag. And again, as I said on Saturday, when we all do things like this together, we create a wave, we create momentum, and it creates a movement. And that is when people really start to get involved and get excited about things. So we are coming to our question and answers session. Oh my gosh, we've already got 58 messages, which is tons. So, Louise, I'll unmute you in a second, but I'll just let everyone know I can see the messages. Louise can't. So what I'll do is I'll come on and have a little look, and I'll just start from the top, and I'll read them out and we can see who's going to answer which question. Okay, I'm just going to have a quick read through them first. Okay, Louise, so I've got a question here. I'm guessing that most of the questions will be for Louise, which is great. Okay, so question number 1 is, whilst on the C9, should or could you take other Forever vitamins that you would normally take daily?
Yes, exactly. Just carry on as you are normally with everything else.
So you're okay to take things like the Forever Daily, your Forever HA, all of that type of stuff?
Yes. The only thing that you have to be careful of is to make sure you're not taking your Arctic Sea at the same time as your Forever Fibre, because fibre, when you put it into your body, it kind of expands a little bit like a sponge. And what it will do, it will kind of soak up fats, which is good, but we don't want to soak up the good fats of the omega-3. So just make sure if you're taking your fibre, you're not having your Arctic sea at the same time. Make sure there's probably a couple of hours in between. What I find is a lot of people that do the C9 and F15, when they're taking the fibre, they tend to swap to taking their Arctic sea at night time.
Cool, amazing, right? I didn't know that. Number 2, why is that moving like that? So when people are doing the C9, do they have to take 120 mils at once, or do they take 60 mils in the morning and then 60 mils in the afternoon? So it's on day 1 and 2, it's 120 mils 4 times a day, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, basically the whole idea of that is just to make sure that you're just spreading it out. And I know it sounds really silly, but it's psychologically, it's giving you something to do. Yeah. So I just tend to say to people, the best thing to do is just take your aloe first thing in the morning. The reason when you take it first thing in the morning is that you have 2 valves on your stomach, one that goes in and one that goes out. And during the night, obviously, because you haven't been eating any food, if you're not a secret eater in the middle of the night, both of the valves are open. So in theory, when you drink your aloe, it will go straight through a lot faster. So that's why you tend to hear people saying about drinking aloe on an empty stomach.
Amazing, thank you. So the next question, Louise, is it okay to chew the Garcinia?
Whatever floats your boat, yeah, if you want to, if you like that kind of thing. But you know, at the end of the day, please try to remember that it's in that that capsule for a reason. Like I say, I wouldn't take it out of the capsule, but obviously if you've chewed the capsule, in theory, the Garcinia is probably more protected. But then I want to ask the question, why would you want to chew it? You know, so think about that really.
Maybe to make it a little bit smaller. Some people do that say they're quite a big tablet, but as you say, if you're squeezing it together.
It could be that, but yeah, I mean, always remember that to get the maximum benefit, it's better just to swallow it whole. But if you feel you can't swallow it whole, then but you can get it down you by chewing it, yeah, but it won't be as potent as if it was whole. That's the easiest way to put it, really.
Okay, so another question about the Garcinia, suitable for breastfeeding mums?
No, it actually says on the container, not suitable if you are pregnant or breastfeeding. The reason for that is only because there hasn't been any clearance or tests on Garcinia to say it is safe. That's the only thing. So you can't say it's safe when it hasn't been passed to say it is safe. Yeah, does that make sense?
Sure.
Yeah.
Can I ask my question?
Yes.
This is something I've wanted to ask you, but I thought I better not message her in the morning and ask. I always forget. So I take Therm as soon as I wake up every morning because I go straight to the gym. If, like today, I took my Garcinia and then didn't have time to go to the gym, I am still going to feel the effects of it. You said that earlier on, didn't you? I thought that I had to go to the gym and kind of activate the Therm in my body by exercising. Is that nonsense?
Yeah, that's nonsense.
I must have made that part.
Yeah, basically what happens is that when you take the Therm is you're giving yourself a stimulant. So I mean, at the end of the day, a stimulant like having caffeine, all that's doing is, as I said, getting the adrenaline ready in your body for action. And that's why I've worked with a lot of professional footballers, and they would, before going to the gym to work out, their sports performance coach, who was part of my team, will get them to, in the early days, just to drink black coffee before they worked out, literally to get things, the glucose in the cells. But then he swapped to Therm because it was more a rounded supplement. So yeah, but then if you do take your Therm and you don't go to the gym, then it's you've just had a natural stimulant. So it's, you know, it's fine, whatever, but you take it just before you go.
Right, thank you very much. I've got another question about the Therm from Christina, and this is something that used to actually happen to me as well. She says that Therm makes her nauseous on an empty stomach. Is it? Yeah. So I kind of managed to get over that.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's because it is quite potent, and that's why with the therm you do tend to say that you need to have some food with it. Now, if you can't have food because let's say you are going to the gym and you don't want to eat a lot of food, then I just say, well, have something that is fat based. So you might have a glass of milk, or you might have something like yogurt, something like that, just to kind of line your stomach. But otherwise you do get this kind of feeling of, it's like not just nauseous, but you feel like it's repeating on you a little bit.
Yeah.
So you tend to find, if you, generally speaking, that's why some people will, when they have their therm, they may have some of their free foods with it, but I actually suggest having something that's a little bit fatty.
Have we got time for a few more?
I'm fine if,
Okay, so all questions for you. What is the difference between therm and lean?
Basically, the lean is more comparable to, well, what you've got in the lean, you have, first of all, you have chromium, which you have in the Garcinia. So we've already spoken about that and your blood glucose levels, but it doesn't have so much chromium in as the Garcinia. So if you're looking at your blood glucose levels, definitely go with the Garcinia for that. But then you've got prickly pear, and prickly pear is a little bit like, it's very fibrous. And so the idea of that is that when you have the lean just before you have a meal that's got it's got high fatty meal, in theory, if you eat the fats, remember what I said about fiber acting as a sponge and kind of absorbing extra fat. And then the other ingredient is white kidney bean, and white kidney bean is a little bit similar to Garcinia in the fact that it contains something called HCA, but it's more powerful, you might say. So hydroxycitric acid is something that interferes with your digestive enzyme called amylase, which breaks down your carbohydrates. So once again, in theory, if you've had a high fat, high carbohydrate meal like your fish and chips, or as you have up in Scotland, is it deep fried Mars bars or whatever you strange things have? Then in theory, if you had a lean before that, then some of the fats and some of the carbs will not be absorbed into your body. So that's how that kind of works. So it's another kitchen cupboard item that some people with the lean will literally just have it at weekends. When they're out and about and they're socializing, or they're going away on holiday where they're not in control of what they're putting in their body, if you see what I mean, because they haven't cooked the food. And it's a completely different product to the therm, because the therm really is to do as a stimulant to support stamina, endurance, and your energy level. So you can see there's a difference.
Oh, amazing. Can you confirm that ultralight's suitable for vegetarians and vegans?
The vitamin D, I think, I have a feeling, I have to double check that it might not be because of one of the sources of the vitamins. I think the vitamin D might be derived from sheep's wool, but I have to double check that.
Okay.
But all you need to do is just check that, because sometimes they update things. They're always in looking at the products and maybe sometimes sourcing them from different places. So we do have a list. If you go on to foreverknowledge.info, and that should have the most up-to-date list, which will list your vegetarian and vegan products. So that I always suggest people to do that, just to double check.
Amazing. Phil Pickles, hi Lou, thank you. Can you let me know what the sugars are in the shakes?
Okay, well, first of all, a lot of people don't quite understand about the sugars, because we certainly don't put silver spoon and Tate and Lyle in our products. When you look at the label, you always see a label that says carbohydrates, of which is sugars. So we have to remember that our body runs on, that main fuel it runs on is actually glucose, which is derived from two main sources. The first one is your starchy carbs, which are things like bread, rice, pasta, potatoes, and then your fruits and vegetable carbs as well. So they will all be broken down into simple sugars, glucose, fructose, and galactose. So basically, when you see the sugar, it's talking about maybe generally speaking, it will be glucose or fructose that you'll get in a product. So all you know is that you're not getting it in a large particle of a carbohydrate. It's already been broken down. So it's fuel that you're running on. So if you look at the amount that you get in the shake, you get about 2 grams of, I think it's fructose, it's just your carbohydrates being broken down so your body can use it for fuel per scoop. When you see it on the other side where it says per portion, it's 16 grams. So that shows the other 14 grams has come from the milk, because obviously milk contains lactose, and lactose is sugar. So if you want to look at the amount of sugar you're putting in your body, then you have to consider, because the 2 grams is quite low really, what you're actually mixing it with, okay, to keep your sugar levels down. But always remember, sometimes people say, oh, it's a lot better to drink orange juice than have, let's say, a Coca-Cola. And I'm only comparing that because it's so extreme. But remember, if you were to have freshly squeezed orange juice that's probably had 8 oranges in it, there's more sugar in that than probably in the Coca-Cola. So always remember that whatever we're putting in our body, we need a certain amount, but we're still putting it in even if it's coming from fruits and vegetables. What you tend to find as well, to satisfy the sweet tooth that people tend to be these days, is that we have added some other sweeteners. And you have to remember that not all sweeteners aren't bad for you. People have got this thing, and surely it's better to put a sweetener in, such as sucralose. Now, what sucralose is, it's a sweetener, it's an artificial sweetener, so to speak, but it's 400 times sweeter than having refined sugar. So you put a tiny amount in, because it will make a product palatable. But then with sucralose, it doesn't stay in your body. It literally sweetens a product so people will take it, and then it just disperses from your body. There's another ingredient we have in sweetness. Sometimes you see it called xylitol, and xylitol is derived from fruits like cherries. So, we need to have a certain amount of sugar because our body runs on it, but we want to have healthy sugars, you might say, natural sugars, but still watching that. Not all sweeteners are not bad for you, and that's why in the Diabetic Society they will use things like sucralose and xylitol as we do, because it means that people will buy the products. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, thank goodness this is recorded. My pen is literally on fire. Another question about the Garcinia: is the gelatin made from pork? Do you know?
No, it's bovine, so it's from cows.
Beef, yeah, you said that already.
Yeah.
Last one, I think. What's your best advice on how to help a lady gain weight? Okay,
well, basically, what you have to do is, if you go to the website I use is foreverfituk.co.uk, and it's obviously it's a forever one, and you want to go to the site and work out the lady's BMR, her basal metabolic rate, and her AMR. You just literally follow the instructions on there.
What could cause constipation during C9?
Oh, that's an easy one. Basically, what happens is that a lot of people are obviously cutting down their food intake. And because they're cutting down their food intake, a lot of people don't realise how much fluid they are now not putting in their body. So, for example, for every molecule of carbohydrate, whether it's a starchy carb like your bread, rice, pasta and potatoes, or your fruits and vegetable carbs, there's 3 molecules of water attached. So if you have reduced down, so what I tend to do before somebody starts on the C9, I ask them what their normal daily diet or weekly diet would be. And I say, I'm not doing this to try and tell you off or say, what do you think you're doing eating that, and that? It's to help them to understand how much fluid their body may be missing out on. So of course, the less fluid you put into your body, it may lead to constipation. And of course, if someone's normally drinking 8 cups of 8 mugs of coffee a day, for example, how much water, how many litres of water are now not going through their body, which their body is used to. So I know it talks about drinking at least 2 litres of water a day, but when I can see the amount of, let's say, starchy carbs people are now going to be kind of reducing down, the amount of teas and coffees. Remember, you can still drink tea and coffee on the C9 and the F15, there's nothing wrong with them, but maybe people are reducing down these things. I go, wow, there's a lot of fluid you would be putting into your body. So what I would suggest you do is not just have 2 litres of water, you probably need to have 3 or 3.5, so you probably need to have more. The other thing that might cause constipation is if they're, once again, their diet, I look at their diet and think, it's not very fiber rich, this diet. It's quite what I call a beige diet. So if they start to incorporate the fiber into their body and their body's not used to it, the concentration of fiber and lack of water, that can obviously lead to constipation. So what I tend to do is get them to reduce down their fiber, and then obviously just make sure, as I said, if you can get people drinking more water, that's one of the first things. So yeah, so generally speaking, if you can keep an eye on their diet, find out what it normally is, then that will give them guidelines to maybe topping up more water anyway.
Amazing. So it's about creating a program with them, isn't it? It's not just selling them a box, it's looking at everything that they do currently. Yes,
yeah, exactly. And I think that is really important. And for those of you who haven't been on my trainings yet, as Natalie knows, I was up in Scotland a few weekends ago, and we were really personalising the programme. And I'm sure if Natalie was to kind of do a bit of a survey for the people that went there, they felt so confident, because the whole idea is, as I always say, don't just look at the C9 and the F15 as following the booklet exactly, because the booklets have been written for the average person. And if I was to say, let's say I'd got, tonight we were supposed to have, let's say 500 people, okay? So there's 500 people, and I was to ask all 500 people to give me their dress size. So I take their dress size, and then I add it all up, divide it by 500, it would give me the average dress size of the people that are listening in. If I then went down to, let's say, Marks and Spencer's and bought 500 of the same outfits, think about that, and came back and said, oh, here you go, here's your outfits, for now go and put them on. How many of those 500 people would those outfits actually fit? It's the minority, not the majority. Because most people, the outfit would either be too big or too small. And so it's exactly the same with the C9 and the F15, especially the F15, because when you look at the calories, for most people, the calories are probably too low. So until you can really personalize the program, and that is the reason why we do encourage people to come on the advisory board trainings, because as Natalie has said, she hit the nail on the head. She said, when I was just saying to people, here's a box, off you go, let me know when you've lost all that weight and you're fit and healthy. It doesn't work the same. It's no different to our business. If you actually sign somebody in the business and say, start your journey pack, go and build a business, I'll see you when you get to manager, it's not going to work. So, the whole idea of this business is building up relationships with people with trust and respect, and then they will develop, as Natalie's already said, raving fans. And they will then be promoting you because you have taken the time and the effort to personalize their journey. And I think that's the most important thing. So don't just follow the booklet exactly as it is. The booklet has been written for those people who aren't getting the support. So, I think that's important as well.
That's a great way to look at it, definitely. So there's lots of people asking duplicate questions. There's lots of people asking if it's been recorded. Yes, it's definitely been recorded. I will send it back to head office, I guess, and they'll maybe pass it out to everyone individually. I've got 2 questions.
Yes.
So the first question was, when do I introduce someone into the F15 if they're buying a C9? The answer to this a year ago would have been completely different to what it is now. a year ago, because I hadn't done the F15, I probably wouldn't introduce them to it until they told me that they wanted to lose extra weight, which of course is totally wrong. When I actually done it myself, I realized that it takes more than 9 days to create healthy habits. It 100% does. It takes, I think scientifically, about 21 days. And this is exactly what I explain to people now when they inquire about a C9. I always say to them, yes, the C9 is great, but if you want the best results, let's go for C9 and F15. Now, of course, not everyone can afford to do that, granted, but I mostly sell now C9s with F15s together because, as I say, I've done it myself, and I know that you get much, much better results, be it weight loss or shaping your body, shredding your body, building a bit of lean muscle, because as Louise has said, it's a totally tailored plan. So don't be afraid to mention it as soon as they talk to you about the C9, because actually what you'll find is most people haven't got a clue what the F15 is, and they probably think that we only sell C9s and aloe vera. So it's your job to make sure that you create that awareness. The more that you do it, the more confident you will get. But if you've not done it yourself, I would say to you, do the F15, because it is honestly absolutely amazing. So easy to follow. The other question was from someone who was asking what I meant by an online event in the group. What I mean by that is that we will say on a Monday evening, not every single Monday, usually once a month, we will go onto the group page, into our support group, and say, join us live from 8 p.m. until 9 p.m. to hear all of the benefits of our 24-day program. Now, obviously, there's people that are in the group who have done the program, but there's also people who are in there who are just taking a look. So it's our job to educate them as best we can. So what I'll do is I'll pick a couple of my team members who are confident speakers, who are confident to talk about the products, who have been to the training, and are confident enough to talk about it. But I'll also ask a few people who have done the C9 and who can come on and basically share their testimonials and talk about how amazing they feel, because that is mostly what people want to know. It's great for us to know in-depth information, but a lot of your customers, you'll find, will just want to know, how do I do it? Give me some ideas. What type of things am I going to have to plan for? How do I get prepared? But most importantly, how is it that I'm going to feel? So make these events quite informal. All we do is, it's just a series of live videos. So it's not an event as such. It will just be, I'll be on at 8 till 8:10, and then someone else will come on at 8:15 until 8:20, just little small bite-sized videos for people to come into. And because they're live in that group, they'll always be there. So if someone does give a really good testimonial, it will always be there, and you can use it to tag people in and out of. So it's really, really simple. And the reason we do it that way is because we don't have to now create a separate event and add everyone in and all of that type of stuff. It's just in that group. So just going live. That's basically it. I think that's us. I think that's us good to go.
Yeah.
So thank you, Louise, for that. That was absolutely incredible.
Well, thank you as well.
You're welcome. Thank you to everyone who's logged in and joined us. Thank you for all of your amazing questions. And thank you for your time tonight. There's actually still 400 of us online. How cool is that? Pretty amazing. All right, guys, thank you so much. I will speak to you all very soon, and we will get this recording out to you tomorrow, I guess. Thanks, Louise.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.